Hello and good morning. This is the Fife Property weekly market update. So this is for week commencing the 1st to the 7th of December. What's slightly different about this weekly update is we are also going to take a look at last month's as a whole statistics. Not only are we going to look at last week's, but we're going to look at November as a whole. Just again, if you are looking to put your property on the market, if you're maybe already on the market or you're a buyer, it'll give you a great insight into what is actually happening. And you'll see the numbers there in black and white, but we will talk through them. Then as we continue with the show, we will look at what we sold last week and what completed. So that is properties that accepted offers last week, and then also properties that have completed. So that is keys handed over, exchanged, new people moved in, enjoying their home. And then we'll do a roundup of the shows that have taken place so you can see what you want to go back and watch. But let's start with last week's number. So this is the 1st to the 7th. Now, as always, feel free to comment, whether it be on this live stream or if you're watching it back. Ask any questions, feel free to comment, or even if you want to message directly, so it's a wee bit more private, then as well, feel free to do that. But let's start with last week's statistics. Now, if you watch these shows quite regularly, you'll see that the numbers over the last few weeks have been decreasing slightly, we'll say. So what has been instructed is coming down. And what we're saying with that is this is then an ideal time to go to market because there is less competition, and you'll see that this is the second week in a row now that it's not triple figures for instructed. Normally we are in the hundreds, but this week we are just double digits for instructed. This week being 86, and would you believe it, 86 sold as well, and that's subject to concluded missives. I don't think we have had, I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've actually had a week where we've had the exact same amount instructed as what is sold. Now, don't forget, this is what is happening on Rightmove right across Fife with all agencies. This isn't just Fife Properties specifically, this is all agents that use Rightmove, and this is for last week. But that just shows you, so you've got 86 instructed and 86 sold. And as I say, I don't think we've had a week like that where it has been the same numbers. Now, obviously, just to do a run through, Cooper, your 5 and your 6, it's kind of always there or thereabouts for Cooper. Those numbers are quite similar. East Snook 2 and 4, again, that is a kind of average for East Snook. There was a couple of weeks where it was slightly higher, but that's kind of more its average. St Andrews, 1 instructed and 4 sold last week, which is great to see because there is quite a bit of stock in St Andrews just now. So it is great to see that 4 went over the line, especially because the week previous as well, there was a higher number of sold for St Andrews. So there's been 2 weeks where they've had a good amount of properties sold. Leavenmouth, as always, holding strong. So you had 9 instructed with 13 sold, which is great to see. And we will speak about it until we are blue in the face. But the commuting links that have opened up in Leven now are still having a positive impact. All of your amenities as well. The property that you can get while still being close to your Fife Coastal Path, obviously the East Snook, St Andrews, all your amenities on your doorstep. It is a great location being in that KY8 postcode. Dunfermline, always going to be high numbers. And again, if you're a regular for the show and you watch this, you'll know why that we have such high numbers for Dunfermline. Again, commuting links and close proximity to the cities if you need to be Edinburgh and Glasgow way. Glenrothes, 9 and 8, again, kind of holding it strong, kind of average numbers for them. And then Kirkcaldy, 22 instructed, which is a high number instructed for Kirkcaldy, and only 14 sold subject to concluded missives, which is actually quite low. The numbers for Kirkcaldy are normally quite similar, so that is a wee bit of a difference. But then it could be the new builds. Now, don't forget, this is just the core market, so this doesn't include new builds because then it's kind of comparing apples with oranges, if you like. It's not a true reflection. So this is just the core market. But for last week's, to give you an indication for the weekly stats for new builds, what sold, there was only 1 in St Andrews, 1 in Dunfermline, 4 in Glenrothes, which is quite high for Glenrothes, but none in Kirkcaldy. So that is what was happening last week. Now, as we have been saying the last couple of weeks, and again, this just shows you, now is an ideal time to go to market because there is less competition out there. You are going to be up against far less properties going to market now rather than wait until spring, summer, which is everybody's in that mindset to wait until spring, summer. But look at these numbers. There is less properties coming to market, but you can see there is still buyers out there. There is still a strong number of buyers. So if you're sitting with properties in any of these micro regions and you're thinking, do you know what, I'm going to sell, but let me wait until spring, summer next year, absolutely not. Now is the time, get an agent out, get your property valued and go to market so that your new buyer can be in for spring, summer, because when there is less on the market, that is when you're going to get more money out of your buyer because there is less competition. When there's more on the market, then that is when you're going to get a lot less for your property. So now is the time to go. Now, as I mentioned, we are going to do a monthly roundup. So what happened in November. So the statistics for that, you should see it's changed on the screen just now. So you can see it for the month of November on Rightmove, right across Fife, there was 442 properties instructed and 445 sold. So really strong numbers. Obviously not much in it, just a difference of three. But it does show you when people say, oh, it's quieter, not as many people are looking. Absolutely not. Look at that. There was still 445 properties sold, subject to concluded missives, a really strong number, especially compared to what was instructed. So it does just show you there is still buyers out there. We speak about the Boxing Day bounce, how we've sold property on Boxing Day, we've sold property on Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. People are there, they've got a wee bit more time, they're sitting in their homes. Maybe they're thinking it's a bit too small, I need to upsize, or maybe they're thinking, you know what, I can't fill this space anymore, we need to downsize. Maybe they want to change a location, but whatever it is, they've got a lot more time. There's nothing else to do on that Boxing Day. So if your property is out there for people to see, then you are in a better position and you're more likely to get more money as well. So Boxing Day bounce, obviously you can see that there's still plenty of buyers, so go to market. Now, if we were to just kind of pull out some kind of the micro regions, we'll not go through all of them, but pulling out some of the micro regions, you'll see obviously Cooper holding strong, 25 and 29, not that much variation. East Snoop, there was 34 instructed and 20 sold. There is a wee bit of stock in the East Snoop just now, whether it be from the, obviously still seeing the effects for the council tax and for second homes, and whether it be the change in legislation for kind of short-term letting Airbnb and people just looking to upload their property. It could be a different reasons why there is more properties coming to the market in the East Snoop, but that is some of the factors. But there is still obviously property selling, as there was 20 sold last month. It might just take slightly longer than other micro regions. You then head to St Andrews, which was great to see that there was 20 properties sold for last month. There is quite a bit of stock in St Andrews just now. So again, that is a micro region that's kind of taken a little bit longer than your other areas to sell. Now, there was only 12 instructed, but as I say, 20 sold, which is a good number considering the stock that is on there. Again, we're still seeing the effects from the incentives that's been offered by David Wilson, the new build homes, whether it be obviously the construction for the student accommodation. There is a couple of different factors for why there is more stock coming in St Andrews and why there is quite a bit of stock. But as I say, it's great to see that there was more properties sold than instructed, because St Andrews in the KY16 postcode definitely needs that. Levermouth, and brilliant one, obviously 41 instructed and 44 sold, so a really strong in Levermouth just now. So if you're sitting in a property within the KY postcode and you are looking to sell, then absolutely an ideal time, because look at those numbers, really strong numbers. Dunfermline, much like obviously the same reasons when we speak about last week's figures, it's much the same for the month figures of obviously why there is more in Dunfermline. And Glenrothes and Kirkcaldy kind of holding strong. They are always kind of similar numbers. Now, if we would look at the new builds, so again, for that month roundup, that is just the core market, not including new builds. But if we take into account new builds for last month, there was only 2 in St Andrews that sold, which is quite a low number. Dunfermline, sorry, is 7. You then have Glenrothes and Kirkcaldy at 7 as well. So there was obviously lucky number 7s last month, because those 3 micro regions were all 7. Obviously, there is still the new build sites happening within those areas, whether it be in Dunfermline and whether it be in obviously Glenrothes, you've got the Markinch and you've got the Cadham. Kirkcaldy, you've still got that kind of Roslingate area that's still getting developed. So there is still plenty of new build sites. And obviously, you can see there the properties that are selling. So that is the week and monthly stats. Obviously, if you have any questions on the back of that, whether you want a bit more detail or some, clearer analysis, then please do, I'm getting ahead of myself, please do reach out. We're more than happy to either chat with you, whether it be in the comment sections, whether it be private message, or even pick up the phone to us, call us in the office, and one of the agents will be more than happy to speak with you and give you a bit more detail in your specific micro region. But that is what was happening on Rightmove right across Fife for November and last week, the first week of December. Can you believe it? We were just saying in the office this morning, we're kind of on countdown to Christmas now, not long until Christmas. So yeah, there we go. Now, if we look at what we had going on in Fife Properties specifically last week, I will talk you through what has sold. So what we have accepted offers on last week. Different locations and different property types and different buyers as well. So it's great to see there's kind of a bit of everything happening last week. So this first one was Hill Street in Cooper. So this one is, let's get it up for you. So this is the property just here. So it was a 4-bedroom semi-detached house. And when you're standing there on the street, you wouldn't believe everything that you're getting at the rear. It had a massive open plan kind of living kitchen. Then you stepped into a conservatory space. And then it had a completely private garden at the rear that was not overlooked whatsoever. And then you had a one-level living on the downstairs and then upstairs space as well, because you can see the Velux window. So it's an absolutely brilliant property. And what was great with this one is the story behind it. And you know we love a story, and there is always one. The new owners are upsizing for this one. But what is great is we sold this property and we're keeping a chain together, because the people that are selling this have actually gone on to purchase another one of our properties. So we've been able to keep it all in-house. We're managing the chain, and that is the great thing. So we've been able to keep a really close eye on it and keep everybody communicated. But it was brilliant that we've got that one over the line, and the new couple that are then moving into the other property that we're selling are also upsizing and moving to a location that they really do desire. So it's great. Everybody's happy. This one was on the market for offers over 240,000. Now, again, if you're regular for the shows, you know that we can't elaborate and give you the detail of what offer was accepted until it has concluded. So you'll just have to continue to watch the shows. But that is our first sold for last week, and that was Hill Street in Cooper. And as I say, it was great to manage that whole chain, keep everybody happy, and keep things ticking along nicely. Now, our next sold, different location. We are heading to your KYA area. So we are heading to Ewing Place in Leven. For those that don't know, this is the estate just opposite Diageo, and obviously great if you need to commute from the new Canberra Bridge train station, if you need to get to the A92 for commuting Dundee, Edinburgh, beyond. So this one was ideal location as well. It's a 3-bedroom semi-detached. So it's an ideal family home as well. Desirable cul-de-sac location. What was great about this one, it's a first-time buyer. So it's great to see a first-time buyers are still coming to market. You know, I know there's been the scaremongering about the mortgage rates and the cost of living, but obviously base rates have leveled out. And it is great to see that there is a first-time buyer coming to market, and what a brilliant property for their first home and going to market. As well, the story behind this one is we were able to sell this property for a landlord. So we've worked with this landlord closely. They've had a portfolio. We have sold properties for them previously, and obviously they keep coming back to us because they know the results that we deliver, and they know that we'll get the property sold for them. So that is great. So the landlord for that one is happy. We have ticked off another property sold for them. So likewise, if you are a landlord and you have a portfolio, whether you're even just curious for what your properties are worth, and you actually are looking to offload them, then we are more than happy to come out and see you, value your properties, and get them sold, just like we continue to do for this landlord. And obviously, as I say, the new people are delighted to move into their first home. What a cracking first home. Then our next sold was still in the KYA area. This is in Buckhaven. So this was Wellesley Road. Now, again, if you're a regular for the show, you might be watching this thinking, I'm sure I've seen this building before, and you're absolutely right, you have. So we have sold the top floor flat. We have sold the flat on the right. Now, this is the flat on the left. Now, those with maybe a keen eye, or again, do watch the show, will think, I'm sure you already sold that because I've heard this story before, and you are absolutely right. Again, we have sold this property previously. Now, buyers' circumstances changed. For whatever reason, they were no longer able to proceed with the sale, so the offer did fall through on that one. Now, obviously, with our marketing strategy and our large matching database, we were able to push out that personal property tour, reach out to the people that were previously interested as well, because people did miss out on these properties, but our matching on our database was able to get us another offer accepted, and the sale is back on track. So you know what, these things do happen out with our control. As I say, buyer circumstances change, but that's okay. Obviously, it's not obviously what happened. It's how we then come out the back of that. And as I say, the marketing and our database, the team were able to get an offer accepted, and everything is happening again nicely. And again, if this is another landlord story. So this one, we were able to sell the property again for the landlord. But what's great as well is they are then going on to purchase another one of our properties. So again, it's keeping the chain ticking along nicely. So there is a wee bit of a story for that one. But the great thing is that one is for somebody that's moving to the area as well. Now that one is, as I say, the ground floor left. The property size of these ones, I couldn't believe when I walked into it. It was an old bank that had been converted. To the ceiling heights were brilliant. The rooms were massive. You've got nothing at the back of you, so it's completely unobstructed. You can see right over the first of fourth. So it is a brilliant location. You've got all your amenities close by. You've got bus stops right outside. You've got commuting links via your train station. So that new buyer is moving to the area and they're going to take full advantage. Now that was on for offers over 80,000. Again, I can't disclose what it went for, but as I say, it was just great that we were able to manage that and get it sold again. So it's great to see these things do happen, but it's how your agent deals with it. And so that's what sold last week. Different locations, different property types, and that is the stories behind them. As I say, we always have a story. Then we will move to completed. So what last week completed? So that is the keys handed over, exchanged, and new owners in their properties enjoying them. So the first one was Hill Road in Kenway. So this was a 3-bedroom end terrace property. The views from this one were incredible. They were literally, as I say, end terrace, and they had great views all at the side, right across the fields. It had a summer house at the rear as well, and it had a kind of new contemporary kitchen as well, and a great sized living dining room with these patio doors that opened up. You also had a conservatory. It was like the property that just kept giving. And that one was going to a first time buyer as well, which again is great to see. Obviously, with the current market and how people have been kind of concerned about mortgage rates, it's great that there's been another first time buyer, and what a brilliant home to move into. And of course, they're in for Christmas. So all of these properties completed. So the new people are in. So it's great that they're in and they'll be able to enjoy their first Christmas in their new homes. Now, this one sold for 122,500. So it was brilliant that we were able to get that property sold. So likewise, if you have a property in the Kenway area, in the Hill Road area, that one was really popular, and we had people that missed out on that one. So if you are sitting with a similar property, let us come out and value it, and let us get you a result like that one, and get you moved forward in your property journey. Now, another one in the KY8 postcode was Taylor Street in Methil. So this was a 2-bedroom first floor flat, and this one sold for 56,100 to be precise. Again, a first time buyer. So another first time buyer out there, moved into their new property, ready for Christmas. What was great about this one as well, so yes, it was a 2-bedroom first floor flat, but it was actually split over 2 levels. So you went in and you had your living room, kitchen, and then 1 bedroom. Then you went upstairs to another bedroom, storage, and bathroom. So it's actually 2 levels split. Great potential with that one to add value. So the first time buyer will be going in there, putting their own stamp on it. And again, they're literally walking distance to all your local amenities, the train station, the bus stop, the high street. So that is a great one for a first time buyer. New location, we're moving to the KY16 postcode. So this is to Guardbridge. So this is Seggy Drive. So this is the Persimmon site for those that maybe don't know. So this was a 4-bedroom detached house in that desirable estate. Really, really quiet, great location because you're within Guardbridge, but you're just a short drive to Lucas for the train station, and you're a short drive into St Andrews, obviously the home of golf, the university, the bars, the bistros, the shops, the restaurants. So great location. What was great about this one as well is it went to people that were coming out of rented. So they were getting on the property ladder and moving out of rented, which was great for them. And what a cracking home to move into. As I say, 4-bedroom detached. And that sold for 290,000. So again, if you have one in that estate, because we've sold another one in that estate just not too long ago either, Fort Avenue. Again, if you're within that estate and you're looking to move out of it for whatever reason, pick up the phone, speak to us, reach out to us. And obviously our database with people that match with this property, we can reach out to them and let them know that your property is up and coming. Now, our final completed for last week, different location again, we're going to head along to the East Nook. So this is George Terraced in St. Monans. So this was a 4-bedroom end townhouse. So this one was over 3 levels and it was sold for 290,000. What was great about this one is, yes, they were able to go in and put their own stamp on it, but there had also been kind of new renovations done. It was the property that just kept on giving. Split over 3 levels, as I say, townhouse. But there was, you had a conservatory, you had this room, there was just so much property. But again, you could go in and put your own stamp on it and watch. What's even better is, again, it's gone to somebody that's moving out of rented and is a first purchase. So they are getting on the property ladder and moving out of rented. And what a brilliant location to move to, the East Nook. Obviously, walking distance to the harbour, to the beach, the Fife Coastal Path, and getting a 4-bed end terrace townhouse. What a brilliant first home. So really pleased. And for all, obviously, everybody that completed last week, especially because they're in for Christmas, which is amazing. If you are obviously wanting further details, if you're wanting to speak with an agent, as I say, comment, pick up the phone, message us privately. We are more than happy to speak with you, come out, give you an accurate valuation, discuss the current market, and give you your dedicated time to ask any questions that you have, to obviously help you with your property journey, just like the people that we have sold and completed on last week. We obviously are here to help you as well. Now, in terms of shows, so you have the Wealth Creation show that will be at 12:30 today. So don't forget, every Monday there is the Wealth Creation show. It is usually with Richard and Jim. Now, this week they're going to be discussing cracking the code of calibration. So if this is going to pique your interest, then make sure you tune in live at 12:30. If obviously that time doesn't suit, you can go back and watch the rerun. But ask any leader whether their organization values collaboration, and you'll get a resounding yes. Now then, if you were to ask whether their strategies to increase collaboration have been successful, you'll probably receive a different answer. Regularly owning your own mistakes, listening actively and supportively to people's ideas, and being respectful but direct when challenging others' views and behaviors, then can encourage lasting calibration. Now, are you feeling frustrated? Maybe it's time to ask yourself what you have done to encourage that. But as always, as we say, you don't need to go back to school, you don't need to go scrolling the internet or try and find a book. You can just tune in to Lettings Director Richard Cook and one of the UK's most successful property investors, Jim Parker, as they are on hand to discuss later on this afternoon. So that's the Wealth Creation show. Then you also have the rental reboot. So start 2025 with our top 10 New Year resolutions for landlords. Now, always you make your resolutions, obviously you sit down and you make note of them. But did you know that most people break their New Year resolution within just 1 month? It's hardly surprising given that most are based around health, fitness, which means heading to the gym at the crack of dawn in those cold and dark times of years, is hardly a recipe for success. But you can set new habits as a landlord without the need to get up at 5 a.m. or starve yourself for treats. As again, Richard Cook and Jim Parker take a look at that in great detail and give you some really valuable insights, and of course discuss the 10 top New Year's resolutions for landlords. So if you're a landlord and you are keen to obviously get that insight, or whether you're looking to start and maybe get a portfolio, then that is the ideal thing to watch and the ideal people to connect with. Now, the final one, this is a show that myself and Richard did last week. We did this on last Thursday, so you can go back and rewatch it. So this is Fife house sales up 7.3% on 2023, yet challenges still remain. Fife house sales have surged by 7.3% compared to 2023, highlighting the resilience of our local property market. As I say, Richard and I discussed that and the key trends shaping the growth and what that means for buyers and sellers in the Fife area. So if you are keen, go back and watch that. It's about 25 minutes roughly. Go back and watch it, or you can obviously click the link and read it if you prefer, but that is the shows that we did last week. So that has been the weekly update. Feel free to comment, message directly, or pick up the phone. But we have done the monthly stats, the weekly stats, what's sold, and what is completed, and that is the shows. So that is us for another week. You always know when you see these shows, that is another week down. I can't believe it. Makes the weeks go in so quick. But I will see you next Monday, 10 o'clock again. We'll go live and do the next weekly update. Until then, take care and all the best.